I have been planning this video for such a long time. Today I'm comparing 3 dot grid journals that are 160 GSM and are probably considered the market leaders in this category at the moment. I am comparing the Archer and Olive, which will be my bullet journal in 2024. Then I'm comparing the Notebook Therapy, that's Notebook Therapy, and this is my current bullet journal. And then finally, the Scribbles That Matter journal, and this one is a bit special. This one is my games journal. Basically, I am in a board games club and we play board games every week, and I like to review the board games we play because there's so many different ones. And so, yeah, that's what this journal's for. So 2 bullet journals and my games journal. I'm Ruby from The Useful Journal. Like and subscribe to get more answers to your journaling questions. Today, I'm going to focus on the things that are different about these journals, and that includes price, the company approach to sustainability, the construction of the journal, features and markings, and in terms of pen test results, these journals all have excellent results with no ghosting or bleed through, but there was some variation in the drying time for pens and for watercolour. So I will discuss these two. At the time of making this video, a 192-page A5 Archer and Olive journal sells for $35 USD. A 176-page A5 Notebook Therapy journal sells for $34 USD, but includes free shipping and stickers and a bookmark, all estimated at about $5 worth. And a 156-page A5 Scribbles That Matter journal sells for $30, and that includes free shipping and a pen that sells for about $4. Valuing the free shipping is very difficult, and Archer and Olive does provide free shipping to the lower 48 US states for orders over $99. Because of this, I'm going to leave shipping out of the calculation of price, but keep in mind that both Notebook Therapy and Scribbles That Matter will give you free shipping even if you only order 1 journal. If we break down those costs, we get a price per page for A&O of 18 cents, Notebook Therapy is 19 cents, and Scribbles is 19 cents. At this point, they're on a level playing field. If we take away the value of the gifts because they are offered as a standard, A&O is still 18 cents, then Notebook Therapy is 16.5 cents per page, and Scribbles That Matter is 16.5 cents per page. I suppose it depends how much value you place on those free gifts. Personally, I really liked the free stickers and the quality of the pen that I received, and when you live in Australia, free shipping is a huge benefit. So for me, based on price, I would lean towards Notebook Therapy and STM. If you live in the US lower 48 states and you are likely to make a big purchase from Archer and Olive, then they might be a good choice for you just based on price. Notebook Therapy and Scribbles That Matter have their head office in England, and Archer and Olive is based in the US. All 3 companies manufacture their journals in China, and I know Notebook Therapy drop ships straight from the manufacturer, and I suspect Scribbles That Matter does as well, whereas Archer and Olive ship from California, but it's also through a third party. This means that all 3 companies are pretty similar on this because none of them are personally inspecting the quality of the product before it is shipped. All three companies have substantial ranges and offer different colours and sizes of journal and different coloured paper, only black for Scribbles That Matter. Archer and Olive are probably ahead of the other two on customer service, as they get far more positive feedback on social media and are widely regarded as being very responsive and helpful. Notebook Therapy doesn't have a pen loop, and Scribbles That Matter only comes in leatherette options, but otherwise the journals offer pretty much the same features. Notebook Therapy is the brand most likely to offer luxury features such as gilded page edges, and Archer and Olive includes a charm on the end of one of the page marker ribbons. I don't think any of these features is likely to influence someone's buying decision. The markings differ a little. While Archer and Olive and Notebook Therapy only have the owner page and dot grid, Scribbles That Matter distinguishes itself by having all the markings, including page numbers, an index, a key page, pen test page, and markings that show the middle of each side of the page and middle point of the page. For those following the bullet journal system, those markings can make your job a lot easier, because things like the index and page numbers are essential. And while sure, you can add these things yourself, just having them already in your journal saves time, and Scribbles That Matter does this. The dots are slightly darker in the Archer and Olive, which also has more pages where the dots don't line up across the double page spread. These are very minor issues. The dot darkness isn't particularly noticeable, and the dot alignment varies by up to 1 millimeter in all three journals. It's just that the A&O journal has a small number of pages where it's maybe 1.5 millimeters variation. Construction is where we see the biggest difference between the three journals. The Archer and Olive and Notebook Therapy journals are both well constructed, with the pages that are glued together between each signature sitting evenly, not too high from the spine and not tearing when opened. For the purpose of illustration, I'll show you the Leuchtturm, which is hard to press down evenly at a join and tears if you try to level the pages. There's also a bit of glue coming through the stitches at the middle of the signature. Unfortunately, the Scribbles That Matter journal that I received has some construction issues. It's holding together okay for now, but it has been poorly bound and glued together. When the journal is closed, the pages don't sit inside the covers, meaning they are more likely to get roughed up and damaged with use. The reason they aren't evenly contained within the cover is seen when you open the journal. There are multiple instances where the binding can be seen between the signatures at the bottom edge of the page, but the pages are glued together at the top of the page, resulting in pages at these joins not lying flat and an unequal space between the central lines of dots. I don't think the pages are going to fall out, but it frustrates the use of those pages. On the Scribbles That Matter and Archer and Olive journals, the ribbons are attached on the inside of the binding, which means they're extra secure because they've been stitched in. Notebook Therapy glues them to the outside of the binding between the spine and the outer cover, where they are more likely to come loose and fall out. The Scribbles That Matter has a minor issue with the leatherette cover sticking out a bit at the spine as it's not glued down properly, and the Archer and Olive has a couple of lumpy corners. In terms of construction, the Scribbles That Matter is definitely the loser, with the others pretty even and pretty good quality, although I have to say the Archer and Olive journals now have a very strong spine, which will prevent some of the spine splitting problems they had in the past, and that could be a problem for the STM and Notebook Therapy journals. Moving on to paper, and all three journals, as we said, have 160 GSM paper, and they're all coated paper. None of the 3 journals had problems with bleed through of pens and inks, except of course alcohol-based pens. These will bleed through in all journals unless they're specifically designed for them. The journals all performed well with watercolour paint in terms of bleed, even when using a bit more water. The Scribbles That Matter journal had a very light case of spotting coming through to the back at one spot, but you have to try very hard to see it. Where the journals were equally bad was the way watercolours looked on the paper. Because of the coating on the paper, watercolour in all 3 journals had a spotty finish for both wet on wet and dry techniques. There's no way to prevent this. Coated paper will always have this result because coating fills the gaps between the fibres with polymers that result in uneven absorption of pigments into the paper. All 3 journals had minor buckling. There wasn't much difference, most likely as this is based on paperweight. Possibly related to the Scribbles That Matter showing paint through very slightly to the back of the page when I used a lot of water is this journal's far better result in terms of smearing. In my pen tests, STM didn't smear after only 3 seconds because inks soak into the paper quickly. And then it was 10 seconds for the Archer and Olive, and the Notebook Therapy had the biggest problem with smearing, taking over 15 seconds for ink to dry. I find this a really frustrating issue because you get little smears all through your work when using rulers or just by brushing your hand over the paper accidentally. Now that we've had a good look at the 3 journals, we'll return to the companies and their approach to environmental sustainability. Archer and Olive don't use sustainable forestry paper, and while they have reduced single-use plastics, there are still quite a few in the packaging of their products. Their products come with a significant amount of packaging for every single item coming in some sort of card envelope or box or shrink wrapped. Notebook Therapy has slightly less packaging than Archer and Olive, but they are doing no better on the sustainability front and have unsubstantiated claims on their website that some of their products are certified by the Forest Stewardship Council, known as FSC certification. I was unable to verify this via the FSC website search facility, and Notebook Therapy provides no information. The FSC claim wasn't on their bullet journals anyway. In contrast, Scribbles That Matter has committed to FSC and uses paper sourced from sustainable forestry practices in their journals. In addition to this, they have committed to a new program through Amazon called Climate Pledge Friendly, which is the initial step towards being a certified climate partner. They are addressing their carbon footprint and reducing emissions. These efforts put STM streets ahead of A&O and Notebook Therapy on the environmental sustainability front. Now, this might be important to some people. Of all the journals, Archer and Olive has the most established journaling community. They also put effort into supporting the mental health of their staff, giving them things like a mental health day off, and the mental health of their journaling community, giving them resources to support their mental health. I am told that STM will readily replace a faulty journal, and I had a previous STM from a couple of years ago that doesn't have any issues with construction. So based on this, given the price, the free shipping, the quality of the paper, but most of all the focus on sustainability, I have to say I'd probably lean towards the STM, the Scribbles That Matter. In addition to which, I actually really like having page numbers, and I love the bright colours of their journals. If it was between Archer and Olive and Notebook Therapy, based on the construction of the journals, I would probably lean towards the Archer and Olive. and also because the Notebook Therapy has really bad smearing and the Archer and Olive has a great journaling community, and it's nice to feel a part of that. Notebook Therapy does have quality journals and free shipping. It might just come down to which journal cover design you prefer. It may be that simple. I don't like to influence people's choices with ratings and scores, because your choice will depend on different things that are important to you, which are going to be different to what's important to me. I hope for that reason that I've given you enough information that you can now choose the journal that's going to be best for you. And I wish you good luck. Look, when it comes down to it, you're going to be happy with all three of these brands. There are just such minor differences between the three, and so it really depends on how you're going to use the journal and which issues are going to influence you the most. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe check out the 3 videos that are individual reviews of each of these journals. See ya!